Welcome to English Mirror. Let's continue the second round of question answer session. First question. Ode on Intimations of Immortality recollects dash. Answer is option D. That means early childhood. Ode on Intimations of Immortality recollects early childhood. Ode, Intimations of Immortality from Recollections of Early Childhood, also known as Ode, Immortality Ode or Great Ode, is a poem by William Wordsworth completed in 1804 and published in Poems in two volumes in 1807. The poem was completed in two parts, with the first four stanzas written among a series of poems composed in 1802 about childhood. The first part of the poem was completed on 27th March 1802, and a copy was provided to Wordsworth's friend and fellow poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge, who responded with his own poem Dejection and Ode in April. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? Who wrote this line? Answer is option C. Shelley, P.B. Shelley. Remember, these lines are taken from Ode to the West Wind is an ode written by Percy Bysshe Shelley in 1819 near Florence, Italy. It was originally published in 1820 by Charles in London as part of the collection Prometheus Unbound, a lyrical drama in four acts with other poems. Perhaps more than anything else, Shelley wanted his message of reform and revolution spread, and the wind becomes a trope for spreading the word of change through the poet prophet figure. Some also believe that the poem was written in response to the loss of his son, William, in 1819. Each stanza of Ode on a Grecian Urn consists of dash lines. Answer is option D, 10 lines. Ode on a Grecian Urn is a poem written by the English romantic poet John Keats in May 1819, first published anonymously in Annals of the Fine Arts for 1819. The poem is one of the great odes of 1819, which also include Ode on Intolerance, then Ode on Melancholy, Ode to a Nightingale, and Ode to Psyche. Keats found existing forms in poetry unsatisfactory for his purpose, and in this collection he presented a new development of the ode form. Ulysses is a poem written in dash. Answer is option B, blank verse. Ulysses is a poem in blank verse by the Victorian poet Alfred Lord Tennyson, written in 1833 and published in 1842 in his well-received second volume of poetry. An oft-quoted poem, it is a popular example of the dramatic monologue. The poem My Last Duchess is set during the late dash. Answer is option D, Italian Renaissance. Remember, My Last Duchess is a poem by Robert Browning, frequently anthologized as an example of the dramatic monologue. It first appeared in 1842 in Browning's dramatic lyrics. The poem is written in 28 rhyming couplets of iambic pentameter. Which sea is mentioned in connection with Sophocles in Dover Beach? Answer is option C, Aegean Sea. Dover Beach is a lyric poem by the English poet Matthew Arnold. It was first published in 1867 in the collection New Poems, but surviving notes indicate its composition may have begun as early as 1849. The most likely date is 1851. Essays of Ilia is collection of essays written by dash. Answer is option B, Charles Lamb. Essays of Ilia is a collection of essays written by Charles Lamb. It was first published in book form in 1823, with a second volume, Last Essays of Ilia, issued in 1833 by the publisher Edward Moxon. The essays in the collection first began appearing in the London Magazine in 1820 and continued to 1825. Lamb's essays were very popular and were printed in many subsequent editions throughout the 19th century. How many daughters Mrs. and Mr. Bennet have in Pride and Prejudice? Answer is option A, 5. Pride and Prejudice is a romantic novel of manners written by Jane Austen in 1813. The novel follows the character development of Elizabeth Bennet, the dynamic protagonist of the book who learns about the repercussions of hasty judgments and comes to appreciate the difference between superficial goodness and actual goodness. Its humor lies in its honest depiction of manners, education, marriage, and money during the Regency era in Great Britain. The alternative title of Oliver Twist is answer is option D, The Parish Boy's Progress. Oliver Twist or The Parish Boy's Progress is Charles Dickens' second novel and was published as a serial from 1837 to 1839 and released as a three-volume book in 1838. Before the serialization entered, the story centers on orphan Oliver Twist, born in a workhouse and sold into apprenticeship with an undertaker. After escaping, Oliver travels to London where he meets the artful Dodger, a member of a gang of juvenile pickpockets led by the elderly criminal Fagin. What was the first title of W.B. Yeats' The Second Coming? Answer is option A, The Second Birth. The Second Coming is a poem written by Irish poet W.B. Yeats in 1919, first printed in The Dial in November 1920 and afterwards included in his 1921 collection of verses, Michael Robartes and the Dancer. The poem uses Christian imagery regarding the apocalypse and second coming to allegorically describe the atmosphere of post-war Europe.